My name is Zoe, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you one of the classic turns in belly dance, but actually it comes from ballet and is in many kinds of dance. Very important to know, but also not the easiest move, as you will see, even though it looks simple. So this turn is the Chainé turn. This is a French name because it comes from ballet. Chainé or enchaîné, meaning chained, because we usually do them one after the other. You can end up doing a whole long sequence of these turns. So let's get right into it. So as I said, this turn, even though in theory looks simple, is difficult in that it requires you to have really good technique. So I'm going to be trying to give you as many tips as I can for technique to make your turns really good. So the first element, of course, is posture. And posture, of course, is always important in dance, but on turns, especially fast turns like these ones, it's even more important because if anything is off, if you're not really centered, it's going to throw off your balance and you're not going to be able to turn, basically, or you're not going to be able to turn as fast, or you're going to lose your balance. So posture, really important. Make sure your pelvis is neutral, tailbone is going down, tucked in, core active. You really want to have an active core for this, abs, especially lower abs. Even your chest, you want to be held, your back, everything, all your muscles really active. Also the leg muscles, as we'll talk about in a second. So this turn requires a lot of energy in keeping those muscles engaged. That's the first word of advice I have on technique. The second one is, of course, spotting, which I think I talk about in almost all turn videos. Spotting is the technique of focusing your eyes on a spot, keeping them focused there as long as possible while turning, and then whipping your head around when you can no longer keep facing in that direction as quickly as possible. So you can practice that just by wandering around in place and picking your spot. Definitely practice that separately before adding on the footwork, but it is very important. It will also help you get less dizzy. Although, of course, practicing turns you will get dizzy. That's just how it works. The more you practice, the less dizzy you do tend to get. The more you spot, the less dizzy you get. So practice your spotting. And the third really important aspect of turning, and especially this turn, is balance. So the Chainé turns are almost always done on releve. Yes, you could do them on flat feet, but you don't go as fast and it's not as common. So you're going to be on releve, meaning on the balls of your feet. You are going to have your legs a bit turned out as well. So you want to feel like your inner thighs really activated here and squeezing together. Really feel that energy. Push down from the balls of your feet, push down into the floor. That will also help you come up. Pushing down to come up, very important. And in terms of releve, I have a whole video of releve and balance exercises you can do if you want to strengthen your releve, which is very important, so you can check that out. But I'm just going to mention a few key points. One, be aware of where your weight is on your foot. So you want to have your weight spread across the ball of the foot, probably a little more towards the first and second toes, but you do also want to have that fifth toe on the floor. You want to make sure your ankles are really straight. So one common problem that I see a lot is ankles, especially going out, which is really dangerous and bad for the ankles. So please be aware of that. They could also be going in. I don't see that as much, but you want to make sure that they are straight. So, all that being said, posture, spotting, balance, let's get to the turn. So again, the actual mechanics, nothing super complicated. All we're going to do from releve, take a very small step out to the side. I'm spotting to the side, by the way, or I should be. Right now I'm looking at the camera, but when I do the turn, I will be spotting to the side. You can just have your hands on your hips or your shoulders to begin with before we add the arms. So, stepping out to the side, and then the other foot is going to cross, really squeeze in here. Squeeze those legs together. Make sure they're really close, because one problem, as we'll see later, is legs too far apart. Squeeze them, spotting of course, turning, and then we're going to again step out with the legs turned out here. That's really going to help you. If you have your legs parallel, you're probably going to end up going in the wrong direction. So turn those legs out, and then we just repeat. Same thing. Crossing, squeezing those legs together, and stepping. Going the other way. Of course, we always want to practice going both ways. Stepping out, crossing, squeezing the legs together, and stepping out again. Crossing, stepping, crossing, and stepping. So that's really all it is. It's just stepping, crossing, stepping, always going on the same line, always spotting in the same direction. And you really want to pay attention to having small steps. So another huge problem that I see in Chainé turns that people have is taking steps that are too big. That's going to completely throw you off. It's going to slow you down. There's just no way that you can do Chainé turns when you take big steps. So chances are that your steps should be smaller than what you think. Maybe not always, but probably. Record yourself. You can't really do turns with a mirror. You really need to be using a camera to record yourself if you want to improve your turns. See if there are issues with your posture, with your steps. Highly, highly recommend video recording in any case, but especially for turns. So again, stepping, crossing, spot, step, cross, spot. To the other side, step, cross, step, cross, step, cross, step, cross. So those are the basic mechanics. Again, I recommend practicing it first with your hands on your hips or on your shoulders. And then the actual arms that are the most common for the Chainé turns are going to be out, in as you turn, and out. So these are very much ballet-like arms. When you're out, the arms are a bit in front of you. So what you always hear is, like, if you wiggle your fingers, but you're looking straight ahead, you should be able to see the fingers out of the corner of your eye here, and then bending from the elbows just to the point when your fingertips would touch. So no crossing, coming too far in, anything like that. In, out, out. So the arms are out, and then as I cross, in and out. In, out. Out, in, out. In, out. In, out. And in. Sometimes if you start doing them really fast, you'll just keep the arms in or down or out. You might start adding fancier arms, but for our practice, we're just going to be doing this. And since you're turning towards one arm, it's actually even less movement than this looks like, because this arm, you don't even really move it, because as you turn, your front arm comes in to meet it. So here, out, front arm comes in, and then this arm comes out. So it's a bit less movement. Out, as you'll see, when you add it with the turn, once you get the arms and get the movement, you'll find the arms help you, which is actually the purpose of having these arms, is that they help with momentum. So we are going to drill that with some music. We are going to do 4 turns each direction. So we are going to do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we'll take a little break. You can do some fun snake arms, even add a little plie. I should be on the other foot. Add a little plie, and then we'll go back the other way. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and snake arms, plie. Again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and snake arms with plie. Last time, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and snake arms, plie. Now, of course, if the arms are too much, again, hands on the hips or on the shoulders, but do try to get the posture, the balance, and the spotting at least, because that's what you really want to practice. So let's put on some music and drill those Chainé turns. So that was the Chainé turn, really fundamental step in belly dance, definitely a must-know, used all the time, especially in a méjancé or whatever, an entrance to great effect, great way to get around the stage. One thing you'll see that you might see is dancers doing like a big circle around the stage with Chainé turns. So for this one, what you're going to be doing is actually changing your spot with each turn. So you would start out, say, spotting maybe to the diagonal, and then you're going to spot to the side, and then maybe the other diagonal, and the back, and the other diagonal, changing each time to circle yourself around. That definitely takes practice, but it looks really cool and is really fun to do, circling around the whole stage. So yeah, once you get your Chainés just in a line, you can try that one out. That'll be great for your spotting as well. I hope that this video was helpful for you. I hope that it helps with your turns. If you have questions or comments, please don't hesitate to write me. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and happy practicing.